How's it going, guys? Nordy back, bringing you some more StarCraft2 ladder matches, continuing on my road from Silver to hopefully Master someday. We got a pretty good matchup for you here today. It's a PvP between myself and Teppa here on Odyssey LE, so let's jump right into that. And Teppa, as you can see, is a diamond player as well. So, let's bring up the nameplate, it's production. Oh, that's Teppa, let's go to me. Alright, so PvP, actually, I should say, in this game I actually thought, Teppa was a random player going into this game. So I opened as if he was going to be Zerg. I do that every time I play a random player, just because, you know, if your opponent ends up being Zerg and you don't wall off, you know, you're pretty much screwed. And, you know, the wall off really doesn't hurt too bad if you're going against a Protoss or a Terran. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it doesn't hurt that bad. I mean, it's not going to be a game-ending thing for you, so I always just wall off just to be safe. So I'm walling off. He ends up being a Protoss, so the wall off isn't really necessary. But again, because he was random, I just decided to wall off. So, but sending my probe across the map to scout, see what my opponent is, since he didn't want to tell me his race at the beginning, like a dirty random player. Sometimes you run into random players who don't tell you their race at the very beginning. Yeah. In which case, like I said, if you just wall off, I mean, usually it's a safe bet. I mean, sometimes it can screw you over, but usually it's not too big a deal. So, but my probe's going up. Gonna scout that he is indeed Protoss, and making this a wall off completely unnecessary, but that's okay. So once I figure out, now that I know that he is in fact Protoss, I'm going to start going for a more of a Protoss build. I'm going to start getting, actually I'm going to steal his gas first. I see the opportunity to steal a gas, so, I think I've said this in previous videos, but if you come in, if you're in a PvP and you come in and you see that your opponent doesn't have one of his gases, then always take the opportunity to steal his gas, because that can really hurt a Protoss player. So if you see that opportunity, always go for it. I'm just kind of continuing this wall just because, you know, I already started it. Might as well continue with it. But I'm going to go into, I've decided to, recently in my PvP matches, I've been doing like a depth heavy build. Basically, I get like 4 Stalkers, 2 Immortals, 2 Sentries, and then like, you know, 17-ish adepts with +2 attack and Depth Blades. And then I attack around 8 minutes. It's worked out for me pretty well in the past. There's definitely things I can beat it, like if your opponent goes Archons, then, you know, the Archons will pretty much wreck the Adepts, but anything except for Archons, generally you'll win with this build, so it's a pretty interesting one. If you've ever watched a Gosu PvP, he's a Twitch streamer, he's pretty good. He's the one that I learned this build from, so. He's a Masters player, so I figured, you know, if it works for him, it probably works for people in Diamond League, so. And it's been working out pretty well for me. I mean, I've won, I think, around 7 matches with this build so far. I've only lost 2. Again, the 2 that I've lost because my opponent went for Archons, so. But you can see he's attacking my gas here again. This gas really hurts a Protoss player because Protoss relies pretty heavily on gas. He had to take these 2 early just to compensate for that, so it really helps out against a Protoss player. I mean, even if you're a Terran or a Zerg and you scout your opponent and you see that he doesn't have this main gas, one of these gases in his main, then you should always consider stealing that gas as well. So don't steal the natural gases. I mean, that doesn't matter as much. I mean, it might hurt him a little bit, but not as much as taking like a main base gas. So, but you can see here I got a Stalker just kind of holding position over here. I'm gonna get 4 of them out. I got my Robo facility done. I got a Mothership Core back here for defense. I got a pretty good pylon placement going up. I would have 3 already. I would already have the triangle position, but again, since he was random, my 3rd pylon is at the front, so. Because I figured he might be a Zerg, but he's going for Oracle, as you can see here. He's got a Stargate. He's going to try some Oracle Harass. But I got 2 stalkers in my my main or my natural mineral line to ward off any oracle that comes in there, and then I got my mothership core in my main. So just having a nice spread out defense is always good against Protoss players, because a lot of Protoss players will like to do oracle or phoenix harass. So you want to kind of spread out your defense just a little bit in the early game. I got an immortal out. Immortals do pretty good against stalkers. A lot of Protoss players in PvP will like to go stalker heavy, so the immortals will be very good against that. And basically the adepts, I mean, an adept doesn't 1v1 a stalker by any means, but at 8 minutes you should have a convincing army supply advantage on your opponent. I mean, you should have way more adepts than he has stalkers, so that's why the adepts were good. And if you work up, you can see here I'm getting +1 right now, and I'm chronoing it out. If you get the +2 early, you can see he's shading an adept in here. I'm just going to pull these stalkers back to deal with that. At the same time, he's hitting my mineral line with a oracle, but I got these 2 stalkers back here to deal with that. Pushes him away. I think he gets like 1 or 2 kills. So he got 2 kills with that, so really not too big of a deal. I mean, he only killed 2. That's really not game ending at all. I mean, it's basically just a little tickle, but like I was saying, if you attack at 8 minutes and you got like, you know, around 17 to 20 adepts with a +2 and resonating glaives, I mean, you should absolutely destroy any player that goes for you know, like a stalker heavy build with maybe like 3 or 4 immortals. You should be able to defeat them. Because by that timing, I mean, usually a Protoss player will have maybe +1 ground weapons, and you know, around 10 stalkers with 4-ish immortals and maybe a couple sentries. So you should have just a much bigger army with better upgrades than he does. So you can see here I already got resonating glaives. My +1 is about done. As soon as +1 is done, I'm going to start +2. And I'm getting up 8 gateways is the number that you want for this attack by 8 minutes, and I usually take my third around 6 minutes. So you want 8 gates +2 and 3 bases by around 8 minutes, and then like I said, at 8 minutes you'll push. He's bringing in a warp prism with a couple of depths inside of it to do some damage on me here. Trying to be a little bit annoying. I don't see this till it's a little bit too late. He's going to warp in some adepts down here to deal with this. Try to cancel this third that I got, and he's going to bring a couple more up into my main to deal with that. I'm sending my army down to deal with these adepts first. I've already got the mothership core in my main, so I'm not. I mean, he's gonna get a lot of probe damage here, but I'm not too terribly worried about it. You can see here his adepts are kind of attacking my my pylon here, so that really doesn't bode well for him. He didn't even get any extra worker kills, so that pretty much did nothing. He tries to warp in a couple stalkers, but I managed to push that away. He brings the stalkers down to my my third. So I'm bringing my army back down to deal with that. Warping in a couple more units back here. He's just generally being annoying. You know, he's just gonna kind of ping pong back and forth between my my third and my main. At this point, I just decided to say screw it. I'm just gonna attack him right now with what I got. It's not quite 8 minutes yet, but I figure I can probably take him with what I have. He's going to get quite a few probe kills in the back here, but I'm really not too worried about it. I'm just kind of waiting for my warp gates to come off the cooldown. I'm going to warp in a bunch more stalkers to deal with these 3. At the same time, I'm pushing his main. You can see here my army's a little bit piecemeal, so I pull back and try to group him up a little bit more. He's got a void ray. But like I said, these I got way too many adepts for him. I mean, he's only got a couple stalkers and two immortals, so he photon overcharged, and I don't want to attack into 3 photon overcharged pylons, so I just back off and wait for the photon overcharge to complete. In the back here, he managed to snipe my third with all these stalkers down here, but I got a pretty good defense at home. You can see here I've already got a bunch of stalkers and some adepts to deal with this warp prism. Pushing in again at the main. Like I said, he just doesn't have enough units to defend this right now. I pick off his mothership core so he can't photon overcharge again. He pulled his probes, so I'm getting a whole bunch of probe kills right now, just ravaging his economy right there. He's bringing in these stalkers again to try to get some probe damage on me. I'm pulling the reinforcement army up to the main because I can see that I mean, if we go into a base trade here, I'm gonna win because he just doesn't have enough units back at home to destroy or to out destroy my buildings. He can't destroy my buildings as fast as I can destroy his because I have a bigger arm than him. Is what I'm trying to say. So I just decided to continue the attack. I warp in a couple more stalkers to deal with this back at home while I'm pushing in the main again, so just kind of attacking and defending at the same time. Coming up the ramp, he's got a couple immortals. I'm just going to pick those off real quick. I activate Guardian Shield to reduce some of the damage there. And as you can see, I'm basically just wrecking him now. I mean, I just destroyed his army, so I'm in his main now. Pretty much destroying everything. He pulled his probes again. I cleaned up everything back at home, so I mean, he destroyed all my probes at home, but you know, I had another base with a bunch of probes in it, so I wasn't really too worried about it. I just needed to warp in a couple stalkers to defend against that while I pushed the main. So that was a really interesting match. That one was actually really fun to play. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on in that one. You can see that I was trying to ping pong back and forth and tell you everything that was happening. I probably missed a couple things, but yeah, that was a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. I ended up going with a lot more stalkers than I normally would, just because I had to defend back at home. But because I warped the stalkers to try to deal with the warp prism and his stalkers, so that's why I warped in a bunch of stalkers. Otherwise, I'd have a lot more depths than I do right now. But yeah. You can see here the upgrade advantage. I had +2 and Resident Glaives. He just had 1/1, so I had I mean, I guess technically we kind of had even upgrades, but not really because my +2 defeats the 1/1. So, and with the Resident Glaives, it helps out a lot as well. So that was a really good match. I also had a warp prism in the back or up in the front here to warp it at the front, but since I kept having to warp it at the back to defend his constant harass. I wasn't really able to use my warp prism, but I did have one. When you push at 8 minutes, you want to have a warp prism with you as well, so you can continue to warp in either adepts or stalkers. You know, just depending on what you think you need. I mean, obviously, if your opponent has a bunch of void rays, you probably want to go stalkers. But if all he has is just a couple stalkers and immortals, then just keep warping in adepts, and your adepts should be able to handle it. Yeah, that was a really good match. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's check out the APM. So I had 86 and he had 99, so I mean, he really didn't have too much APM, but again, showing you that APM doesn't matter too much. But yeah, that was a good match. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. You can see here my winning streak. I got up to 9-0, and then I lost 2 in a row, so my winning streak is finally over. Kind of sucks. I enjoyed my 9-0 winning streak while it lasted, though. So, but yeah, I'm still in Diamond 3. You know, work and stuff has been getting me lately. Been having to work a lot, so I haven't been able to ladder as much as I would like. But hopefully, I can get to Diamond 2 here at some point in the near future. I'm currently at 3,933. Before I lost those 2 matches, I was at 3,980 something. So I was pretty close before I lost those 2 matches. But we're just gonna have to grind here today. I don't have to work today, so I'm planning on doing a fair amount of laddering today. So hopefully I can either get Diamond 2 or at least get close to it. So look forward to that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I'm doing the coaching series. If you wanted to send me a replay of something that maybe you don't know how to beat, or if you just want me to critique your gameplay, you can send me a replay to nordysc2 at gmail.com. I'll leave a link to that in the description for you guys. But yeah, if you want me to critique your gameplay or let you know how to defeat a certain build, then I'll go ahead and take a look at it and cast that game and post it on my my YouTube channel for you guys to watch. I mean, I check the replay every day, so I should. If you send me a replay, I should have a video of it up like within the same day that you send me the replay. Obviously, if you send me the replay at like 11 at night, then maybe it might take me till the next day to cast it. But if you send me the replay like during the day, it should be up at least by the end of the night. So consider that if you guys want me to coach you a little bit, let you know how you're doing. Again, the email to send those replays to is nordysc2 at gmail.com. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you learned something, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Semper Fi, guys. Nordy out.